Vanakkam Makkale, and welcome to another episode of the r/Kollywood podcast. We've been away a bit over the past few weeks. That's because all of us have lives outside this pod, and we've been caught up with that. But we are back with another episode, and and hyping ourselves to the release of Coolie, which we hope will, make all sorts of waves positively when it comes out a day before Independence Day. And here I have with me Dad Bro. Vanakkam bro, எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
Hey Siege, yeah, like it's been a while. Like I was telling you, like in the middle of all that we have to go through, we are going through. Pretty much for me, like moving countries and stuff. It is just like I feel if I'm not doing this pod, it just feels like a huge vacuum in my every week or month. So I'm like, I just got to get this done and then get back to what I'm doing. So I'm happy to be here.
I Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, the last few weeks I was caught up because I have family visiting me in England, and it was my child's first birthday as well. Many of you might not know this, some of you might know, but I do have a child who's 1 year old, who turned 1 year last month. So we had to do the birthday celebration. So we were quite busy with that as well. So இப்பதான் கொஞ்சம் I'm able to breathe a little.
and,
Um,
and
and yeah, I
filling that
think.
breathing space with something as beautiful as Lokesh Kanagaraj. So
Yes, exactly. I was about to say that. So, really, I think it's a wonderful moment to talk about Lokesh. And he's already started his round of interviews with Badi and the gang. So, number one, there we will go into what makes him such a special filmmaker,
yeah,
and why this will potentially mean that Coolie is a very special film and probably the capstone to 2025's Tamil cinema. I mean, admittedly, we still have a while to go after Coolie as well, but it could potentially be that
yeah.
Coolie is the biggest
With
film that we
with
get this
Coolie,
year.
I'm kind of starting a new habit now. Usually, for every movie, was it retro or
Mm.
அதுக்கு முன்னாடி வந்த Loki படம் or any of the big directors' movies, right? I get into it by listening to all their interviews to see like Ram படம்லாம் வந்தப்போ I was listening to his interview in Galata Plus with Bharatwaj Rangwan, like whatever channel he's doing an interview, I was
Yeah.
listening to everything. That is how I usually prepare myself for a movie. But with Coolie, I just disconnected myself up because I feel there's too many details coming out of the movie that I'm like, don't spoil my experience. Like I'm already upset that Amir Khan was revealed. I can understand why
Yeah, yeah.
production that's a hassle, but I'm like I want to get a good movie, so I'm just gonna stay away from all of you as much as possible.
Yeah. I think that whole American thing, bro, I think let's face it, even though a lot of people in our sub troll, the War 2 trailer, and rightfully so as well. I mean, let's be very honest. It's an absolute beast, right? Even in even in the North, very hype illa, but I mean, Ritik is still a very big star
Yeah,
in the top five Hindi heroes, and Joni and TR. I mean, our குப்பை படம் பண்ணா கூட ஒரு decent opening கிடைக்கும் ஆந்திரா and தெலுங்கானா. So if going up that kind of juggernaut, I guess they have to go, pull all stops in some ways, right? And that's the reason probably they revealed the whole Amir Khan thing. But what is interesting, see, the fact is they gave him a character poster, and it looks like, based on what he's also said, that it's not just a mere like you blink and you miss it kind of thing, and he's a full-fledged character, which would of course make him stand apart from, say, what we got with the like the Jackie Shroff in Jailer, for example. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he was there and you barely registered. So I think Andresh and Lokesh, and you'll probably not just waste Amir, and more so considering that Amir is
I'm sure.
a
I'm
better
I'm
actor as
sure. I'm
well. So
sure Loki
yeah,
will do a good job. Like what I was like எனக்கு
yeah.
ரோலெக்ஸ் வரான்னு தெரியாம இருந்திருந்தா அன்னைக்கு என் நாளே வேற மாதிரி இருந்திருக்கும். So
Bro, எனக்கு வந்து opening credits வரைக்கும் தெரியல. That's the thing, right? I was not very active on, the sub and all that back in those times, right? எனக்கு சுத்தமா
it
தெரியல.
was
I
not just about
literally
the sub.
found.
They released posters. That is when it got revealed.
நான் பார்க்கவே இல்லை. நான் வந்து இல்லை. See, I didn't have much hopes of Vikram going in. I mean, okay, it might sound like sacrilege in retrospect, but அப்ப வந்து let's face it. I mean, Kamal was going through a pretty rough patch. Lokesh வந்து he had Master, which was, I mean, it was received well by Vijay movie standards, but admittedly it was considered a step down from KV. So அந்த விஷயத்துல வந்து,
I
okay,
don't
had a
know about
star
that.
cast and
I don't know if
everything.
I'll agree to that, but yeah.
இல்ல, I'm saying for myself. நான் என்ன பத்தி சொல்றேன். I'm not saying that but there was no hype for Vikram Nasolal. I'm just saying I was personally not
Yeah,
very hyped for
yeah,
Vikram. I was more, I had a lot more trepidation, let's put it that way.
yeah.
Right? Whereas with Leo, it was the exact opposite. Like I was okay, after Vikram, Lokesh is going to, potentially extending the LCA, who knows about Syria, but we were like, oh, okay, this could be like a big thing, right? So I was personally hyped for Leo more than I was hyped for Vikram. But it kind of tells you
Who
what you are
wasn't
following
hyped
up
for Leo? Tell
two
me.
things. I don't know. Ajit Rai, yeah,
So,
honestly, that was a
so
like,
just as I'm packing up, right? I'll just end with this
yeah,
note. Just as I'm packing up for the last 3 4 years, this apartment I kind of like set it up in a way where it's like always red dark, like the lights and all that.
yeah,
I just keep it dark, and I kept watching Leo again and again and again. So I have a few movies like Across the Spider Verse, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Jigardanda movie, like Karthik Subraj movies. It's just that it fits
mm,
my perfect movie watching ambience. Similar, Leo is like so
yeah,
for me. Even more than a movie, right? It's just a part of my life now. Like I'll just let it run as wallpapers because Manoj Paramahamsa did such an amazing job with the cinematography for
yeah,
Leo. So stuff like that, right? Sometimes that's how Kollywood became a part of all our lives, I'm sure, and we are here
yeah,
recording
yeah,
it,
yeah.
So
I think like
these are the
Lokesh,
landmark events which just carry with you for a very very long time. So
yeah,
Lokesh Kanagaraj is from that
yeah.
breed of film directors who's going to be celebrated from Kollywood for a very very long
Yeah,
time.
I mean, look, his the stamp that he's left already in his very short career is massive, right? I mean, independent of what happens with Coolie or his subsequent films, Lokesh Chandra, he will be considered as one of the better filmmakers to come in this new age wave. I mean, that's a fact,
Very
right?
true.
நீங்க வந்து you might disagree with individual films from a filmography. You might say that எனக்கு இந்த படம் பிடிக்கல. I mean, someone like Badi, when he even to this day he dislikes Kaidi. Like I never understood that. The logic எனக்கு புரியல. He thinks Bigil is a better movie than Kaidi. That kind of opinion எங்கேருந்து வருது எனக்கு புரியல. But even he accepts that Loki is probably one of the most influential filmmakers we have among the current crop, like the Nelsons and Karthic's of the world, right?
So yeah,
And possibly,
that is the thing, right? With Nelson, Karthik Subraj, and of course Atli and Loki.
yeah,
Like we do have four directors who are very confident with their technical prowess. They
yeah,
know they can handle every department of filmmaking, and they have been doing it
yeah,
pretty effectively, right?
yeah. Agreed. And I think the good thing about Lokesh, and I think this is true for the names that you listed out as well, right? அவங்க வந்து they are not afraid to step out of their sort of comfort zone and also say that, see, எனக்கு இது பண்ணணும், but I may not be very good at it, but I want to give this a try because I'm inspired by these things.
Exactly.
They're not playing to just their strengths. I mean, look, we நம்ம வந்து retro அடிச்சு தோச்சாச்சு நம்ம பாடலே வந்து, okay. I personally dislike that film. You know that very well. But I will give credit where it's due. I'm at least appreciative of Karthik's ambition in making a film like Retro. Right? அதே மாதிரி Loki வந்து Leo had its flaws, right? It had its flaws. Let's be very honest. But firstly, as a film overall, I had a good time. That was a positive. Secondly, வந்து I appreciated some of the very ambitious things he was trying to do, both from a narrative perspective and from a technical perspective. Right. My only thing, if he, my own, and the problem என்னன்னா வந்து you kind of feel bad for Lokesh at times because he's very honest about it. See, நான் இதை ட்ரை பண்ணேன், ஒர்க் ஆகல. இது வந்து இந்த மாதிரி கன்சிடரேஷன்ஸ் இருந்தது. நான் அது வந்து we were trying to do something like this, but because of XYZ reasons ஒர்க் ஆகல. I mean,
Okay,
even for people like us who sit out.
just pausing you here. Let me ask you this:
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
think, from your point of view, the flaws that
yeah,
Lokesh had in, let's say, in Kaidi, in Master, in Vikram, was he able to
yeah.
resolve those in Leo? I will answer this after you.
See, I think நீங்க சொன்ன films இருக்குல்ல எல்லாமே வந்து they have a very similar structure Barring Leo, I'll come to that in a second. எப்படின்னா, they're very plot heavy in the first half, and then he kind of, for all practical purposes, the key dramatic or thematic elements are more or less resolved by the time you get to the intermission. And the second part is you set the pieces on the chessboard. அதுக்கப்புறம் you just let them run on autopilot. அந்த மாதிரி தான் அது. And every scene in the second half is essentially taking characters from point A to point B. Where he was trying to be a bit different in both Master and Leo, I felt, was Masterல வந்து it was evident that's a conflict, but at the conflict வந்து it was not very action heavy until two-thirds into the film, when he had to, for whatever reason, go into that bits around Bhavani killing his
Yeah.
friends or whatever, and then that stupid archery sequence. Leola Vande, I think it's the only film in his filmography, in my opinion, where the through line or the plot does not resolve until the last frame. It really does not. Leave the Kamal
True,
call and all
true,
that.
true,
But
true.
until the revelation on there, and the core, what is the core plot of Leo? The core plot of Leo is that, is he Leo or is he Parthiban? அதான் நம்ம core conflict இருக்குதுல. See, we all know because of meta reasons he is Leo. அது நமக்கு தெரியும். That's okay.
Yeah.
But he was pushing it to the limit that எனக்கே வந்து I was like, okay, is he really brave enough to bite the bullet and give something like give a really crazy twist like இதெல்லாம் ஒண்ணுமே கிடையாது. He's literally Parthiban. He's just
Yeah.
dragged into it for no fault of his.
Yeah.
Right. It would have been a ballsy move, but that's where I think he kind of, on the next level, Leo work is because he kind of held back, other than the climax and all the other bits and pieces that came after the film. But I felt if he had really gone the full hog with that conflict, it would have been a very, very different film. Very polarizing,
Yeah.
but I think I would have personally appreciated it a lot
Yeah.
more.
I'll just pause you here.
So I like.
So this same question, right? So when I asked you this, right? The answer for me, Loki as a filmmaker has definitely evolved a lot from Kaidi to Master to Vikram to Leo. I'll tell you how. Look at how technically strong each movie is. You will see Kaidi was like with the single shot with night shooting and all that, and in a single day and all that. Kaidi was very new to Kollywood at the time. I'm sure there are other movies which have come out, but this was very mainstream and a big hit. அதுக்கப்புறம் presenting Vijay in a very different avatar in Master, and still keeping it like making two big hits with Vijay Sethupathi, who got almost equal screen space as Vijay. Was a turning point for Master, and Vikram was a totally technical achievement on its own, especially with this. You can just point out the 15 minutes interval sequence, and that is enough reason. So when Vikram is happening, you're like, can Loki do even better? Leo is coming, and honestly, na theater first half of Leo, I'm like, how clean the movie is, how good and Lokesh Kanagaraj are working together, like how even the cinematographer, like I'm mentioning him again. And the Hyena sequences and stuff, like you saw how the visual graphics improved. So as a director, right, Lokesh Kanagaraj is learning, and he's getting better and better and better from his technical side. So that is what keeps me most excited for Coolie. I'm like, Lokesh, I just want to go and see that. Of course, I agree with you. As a filmmaker who also needs to focus on the writing part, I do have my grudges with Loki, and honestly with Karthik Subraj, and I don't know, man. This Kollywood second half ku ஏதோ ஒன்று நடக்குது. Curse தான் சத்தியமா சொல்ல போனோம்னா, but
that's a curse, I think, in Indian cinema as a whole. I mean, I don't think we are unique to it. Very few directors, because see, this whole interval element it has introduced a very artificial point in the way a story is structured. So you have to give that high moment before you go on a break.
I'll tell you a recent movie which kind of broke this pattern. I always think it in my head. Sorry, interval is kind of the end of the second act, correct? So basically, the third act needs to be just the like finish, give the conclusion and get done, which might be not a very long time. And the movie which did this the best was Kill last year. My God! By
Yeah,
the time they put
that
the
was
information
really
card
good.
and the
Yeah.
title card, after that there was just one final battle sequence, or he's just slaughtering everybody. That
Yeah.
is how a movie should be.
The problem is the interval one day, it's a halfway point in the story, but ultimately you still want to tell a story in a three-act structure. So it's a very என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா, you kind of rush to the first two acts because you want to have an interval somewhere in between, and then அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன ஆகும், you have this protracted act three, which kind of drags out and you're kind of clueless what to do. I think if the interval was just treated literally as not as an element to drive the screenplay structure, but just as a stopping point, like how it was treated in, say, movies like The Brutalist. I don't know if you watched that in the cinemas. But
Not yet.
Brutalist, they had an interval. It was a pretty long film. They gave an interval, right? Or you watch the old school, the Ben Hur type movies,
Mhm.
there is no high point or anything. Literally, end of act two, go
I mean,
intermission.
honestly, Siege,
So,
I will, I will, I will stand for Tamil cinema, and I will stand for intermission. Intervals are the high, like now, என் வாழ்க்கையில like Kollywood highest points and யோசிச்சு பார்த்தா everything is almost an interval. Like
bro,
I am waiting.
na,
My Jigartanta interval block, my Leo interval block. Like it just master,
bro,
obviously.
நீங்க see, now I will tell you an example to counter this. I see your point. Look, we all like a good high moment in the intermission. The challenge என்னன்னா our filmmakers are struggling to resolve it very well in the second half, and the delta between the first and second is so high right now that it's becoming a massive headache. I'll tell you one that was
How
really good.
about just
நீங்க
just just quickly thinking it as a concept, same thing நான் Thug Life interviewல தான் சொல்லியிருந்தேன். Let's say Thug Life
yeah.
is extended first half intermission point வரைக்கும் it is extended as a
Mm.
2 hour movie,
Yeah.
and then the conflict starts and basically the movie ends. That is almost what happened in Bahubali. That is when the conflict between Rana and Prabhas is starting at the end of Bahubali 1. And
Yeah.
everybody's been waiting
Yeah.
for the next 3 years just to see how this resolves. I don't know why. I know we are overdoing the part one, part two, but it's not done the right way, is what I'm feeling.
Yeah, it's very front loaded. That's the challenge, right? And
Yeah.
Lokesh is also guilty of that. And to some extent, I think Kaidi was by far the cleanest structure that he had, in my opinion, because the idea that you have to go from point A to point B and there is no major plot complication. It's like a video game plot மாதிரி அது. உங்களுக்கு ஒரு bare thread bones கொடுத்தாச்சு. அதுல you have to develop an entertaining narrative. It, I think, really helped for a film like Kaidi, and that's why it didn't feel very lopsided, which is why the highest moment of Kaidi it happens with the Gatling gun in the end. The Gatling gun, Napoleon or
Yeah.
whatever he gets it.
Yeah.
So, whereas இதுல விக்ரம்ல கூட the highest point is the intermission scene. Leo is a bit of an odd one out because I think the highest point is probably the cafe fight, which is 30 or 40 minutes before the intermission. Or
I know.
which is like the actual intermission point is like, dude, idu intermission. Okay, seri.
Yeah,
Fair
you're
enough,
so
maybe
right.
second half
You're
எதா
so
இருக்கும்,
right.
but
You're so right. You're
yeah.
so right.
So அதுக்கப்புறம் it just starts going in all sorts of weird places, both technically as well, which I thought he was very ambitious, by the way. And a lot of that, and the Godon fight with that, and the almost Assassin's Creed style POV which பண்ணி,
Yeah.
I kind of liked it, by the way. The eagle which பண்ணது,
Yeah.
I play Assassin's Creed a lot,
Yeah.
so I personally liked the way he was thinking, but it was messy as hell. Like you could see he was running out on time.
Yeah,
It was very evident.
it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate, but so
Yeah.
yeah, let's just segue a little bit into how Lokesh has been technically using the resources that he has been having. So you're giving example, like even him bringing what is that camera called, the one which comes in the Mokobot la.
Mokobot,
So
I think that's more of a that's a rig marila. The camera is the camera. I think it's how you mount the rig. It's like a fixed perspective which the thing moves.
I thought I saw the camera move. I thought I saw it.
இல்ல bro,
What is
எப்படின்னா,
MK
my understanding is that
ஒரு வீடியோல பார்த்தேன். I thought
the camera is the camera, but my understanding is that the Mokobot is more of a rig.
Oh yeah.
எப்படின்னா அது you kind of you can use any camera with it. You can use a red or whatever. You put it in the rig, and then you kind of
Yeah.
code it in such a way that
It's
the entire
it is just
structure
it's
kind
just
of
a fancy
moves
tripod.
around.
அப்படிதானே?
Sort of, yeah, or a gimbal. That's the right word.
Yeah.
It's like a fancy gimbal.
So yeah, but Vikram, Lokesh bringing that in, and honestly, for me, what I usually am able to appreciate easily is the music, and like you can
Yeah,
see how Anirudh loves working with Lokesh Kanagaraj and wants to put out, like, see, Anirudh from the heart is a singer from a rock band.
yeah,
And he's able to bring that inner self of Anirudh mostly with Lokesh Kanagaraj movies. Do you agree with that?
yeah, yeah. I agree. I think he's done his best work with Loki.
Exactly.
That's a
So,
fact. That's a fact, right? Yeah.
Lokesh with that, right? I think again with cinematography, I think was it for Master or was it for Vikram? He brought the guy from Angamali Diaries, the cinematographer.
Good question.
Yeah.
Tell me, bro. I need to
But
check
see, but
that.
identifying those talents and assessing that he will work best with my movies, and from there, was that Girish Gangadharan?
The
Angamali Diaries.
cinematographer,
Yeah, I'm not.
Girish Kanagaraj, correct.
Yeah, and now he's just doing all the big movies in India, kind of. So
Sort of, yeah, yeah.
now,
Coolie கூட அவர்தான் பண்ணியிருக்காரு
yeah.
நினைக்கிறேன். Yeah.
So like
He did it
Lokesh
Vikramla.
has that. I would say tenacity, honestly, to be able to find all these right guys to work with and have that command.
Yeah, and also translating his vision, right? I'll give you something which will kind of surprise you. Like, if I'm just going through Wiki. Did you know that Girish Gangadharan also did the cinematography for Sarkar?
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
And you can see, okay, sorry, no shade on Sarkar or whatever, but it's just very different in how visually it appears. Yeah, Sarkar, then he also did Jallikattu, Malayalatila.
Yeah, exactly.
He also did Vikram, and now he's doing Coolie. I mean, Sarkar, it stands out like a, I'm sorry to say, it stands out like a sore thumb in all of this, right? Are they in oversaturated colors and whatever typical, and the time films மாதிரி தான் நம்ம பார்க்கறதுக்கு. Whereas Vikram has its own has its own visual language, right?
Oh.
And clearly this proves, right? Like Lokesh, even if you don't, the output, I think for him, right, Lokesh or the output is very strongly contingent on time. I don't think he you give him ample time, right? I think he's able to deliver something really good because his vision is very clear. But அது பண்ணறதுக்கு டைம் தேவையில்ல. நீங்க you put artificial pressure, release date இருக்கு, அது இருக்குன்னா எவ்வளவுதான் he can do.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Which is why,
honestly, I am sorry to say this, but I think that is also a director's responsibility to be able to navigate those.
இருக்கு bro. I
See,
agree,
it
but
is the truth of the
see,
industry, and sometimes it's
now
எனக்கு அதனாலதான்
right.
see, I respect Karthik Subraj and Lokesh Kanagaraj so much, but when they're talking in interviews and telling, like, especially Karthik Subraj after Retro, I'm like, dude, what are you even doing? Like, எல்லா இடத்துலயும் போயிட்டு இது இருக்குது, framing இருக்குது, படத்தை இறக்கி விடுறாங்க. Dude, stop complaining, like, take some ownership.
Yeah,
you're,
see,
you're,
like
you're the head of a you're the head of a ship.
exactly
You need to set a good
that whole
example.
you're saying is a very good point because this whole post Leo and then the fake flashback, even another perspective which you wrote, and then the whole conversation poach. And honestly, it was annoying to me personally because I'm of the firm opinion the film should contain everything for it to be interpreted properly and appreciated properly. You cannot tell me there is something that came before the film or something that came after the film that is absolutely critical for you to understand and appreciate the nuance that I've brought into that film. The minute you say that, personally, I think you're just making up excuses. I'll give you a good example. Inception at the club. Okay. Inception, there is a core. Maybe it's now outdated and but I'll tell you what happened when the film came out back in 2010, 2011, right? What is the core thing? And the Karsila, is he in the dream or is he out of the dream? Right? And there was this huge debate up on the timeline.
Yeah.
That பாதி பேர் சொன்னாங்க இல்ல he's out of the dream, பாதி பேர் சொன்னாங்க இல்ல the totem is still spinning, so he's still in the dream or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And Nolan said, you know what, I've given you everything in the film for you to conclude or at least interpret what I was trying to convey. right? And he was right. Like 4 5 years later, he kind of explained it. He said that, look, ultimately, what the message I was trying to get across was it doesn't really matter because DiCaprioட character வந்து he spins the totem, but he walks away without looking at it, believing that his kids are there. So, from his perspective, his reality is a world independent of whether that conforms to our sense of reality, where his kids are with him. அவ்வளவுதான். And that is ultimately what I wanted to get across.
Yeah, exactly.
இதுக்கு வந்து இடன் சே இல்ல இதுக்கு வந்து நான் he didn't give some word to say that இல்ல ஆக்சுவலி வந்து ஒரு deleted scene இருந்தது, அது வந்து இந்த பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவ்ல பார்த்தானா அது இப்படி இருக்கும், அந்த பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவ்ல பார்த்தா இப்படி இருக்கும். That to me is very annoying.
Yeah.
And honestly, especially with that whole fake flashback business, just accept it, dude. Like it was not good. I mean, it didn't work. That's it, right? Just move on.
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
I think,
Production level.
I think he accepted that. I saw few of the interviews
I think,
later,
yeah,
or even I think
yeah.
I think the interview with Sudhir maybe 2 3 months back when Sudhir started the channel.
Yeah.
I think that was he was being honest. He was being honest. I think he accepted.
Badioda kuda வந்து he said that, look, again he was kind of he accepted it, there was some missing element, but I still feel he feels like, okay, we're treating him a bit unfairly for that flashback. He was like, see, Parthiban on the dance, I had to get some dance. Okay, I get all that. I get that sort of commercial compulsions. I totally get it. But honestly, dude, even you are a hardcore Anil, right? Sorry, but that's not throwing shit.
It's
But
the truth. I'm proud of it. I don't.
Exactly. So no shade, no shade. So நீங்களே சொல்லுங்க. Let's say, for example, you don't have that flashback, and the entire movie when Vijay was basically playing that morose, straight, very serious party character. I'm pretty sure over and the you would have probably liked the film a lot better than what we got in the end with that fake flashback or whatever.
Dude,
right?
that is some fantasy land in Lokesh head that he thinks Vijay fans ki idha pudikkum. Like
exactly, that's the point. Yeah. Vijay when he looked out of place in that. That's the point, right? He actually owned Parthivan character very well, but the Leo Das flashback when they left, Thirumala scenes are that just got
let's accept it. Like within cinema fans, within Vijay fans, of course, I'm sure there might be people who actually liked it. It's just I can choose to disagree that is not my style of movie. Yeah.
இல்ல என்னோட பாயிண்ட் என்ன, நீங்க பண்ணுங்க, அது கூட தப்பு இல்ல. நான் எனக்கு அது பட் மை பாயிண்ட் இஸ் இஃப் இட் டன்ட் லேண்ட் வெரி வெல், ரைட், don't just dwell on it, just move on, own it and just move on, say that yeah, okay, maybe it's சரியில்லை, maybe I'll think about it in the next movie and try to fix it or something.
Siege, I think this is a good segue to let's jump to the next part. So considering all this that has happened in the previous movies and all the stuff that Lokesh has done really really well, what are your hopes and what would you like to see in Coolie?
Bro, எனக்கு என்னன்னா, one big thing with Coolie, right? First of Lokesh in all his interviews he said, this is the most I've been relaxed in after a very long time. And it really feels like he had ample amount of time to write the story, mount it, shoot it, edit it, and everything. So
interviews, I stopped trusting them after what has been happening in the last.
But now I'm just going by body language, right? I just get the feeling that he had he doesn't come up as someone who had a lot of pressure while making this.
The feeling, which is a good sign. The feeling that Siege.
I know. Secondly, the fact is, let's be honest, he doesn't have the baggage of the LCU in this one. Right? That is a big advantage because he can really go. The only other baggage he has is Rajini's image or Rajiniisms or whatever.
Yes.
But let's be very honest. I think Rajiniyoda fan base is no. I mean, 2K is kids, it's mostly millennials, people like say me who are in their 30s and whatnot, and basically because we have very different life space at this point. If Lokesh is smart about it, he will realize that he can actually be very experimentative with Rajini, provided Rajini himself accepts it. So assuming there is no barrier from Rajini himself.
There is a beautiful prototype which just happened 2 years back with Jailer. So it is like you can see what is possible.
Yeah,
with Rajini's
exactly.
actor, and you
Yeah,
also have the prototypes of Vettayan and Anantha, which you should not do. So it is like pretty, like, see, we all already know Rajini. We have seen him over the years again and again in so many characters. So எங்களுக்கு
yeah,
ரஜினி, எனக்கு அந்த கேரக்டர் பத்தி நீ பெருசா சொல்லணும்னு அவசியமே இல்லை. ரஜினி வந்து ஸ்கிரீன்னாலே we know he's capable enough of resolving whatever the conflict is going to happen. Just focus
yeah,
on building the conflict or the story which is around that. Yeah.
yeah. Agreed. So அந்த விஷயத்துல வந்து இல்ல, I'm quite excited. And look, it's a stacked supporting cast, right? And I mean, a film with freaking Nagarjuna, Amir Khan, Satyaraj, Upendra, Shobhan, that's
Chauvin.
crazy, right? And
Chauvin,
they're not even
Chauvin
lead
is my
leads.
pulling factor, especially after Monica.
I know. Of course, எல்லாருமே they accept it. I mean, who would have thought, right? That's for a song featuring Pooja Agde, that Chauvin is the most talked about person. adila. So, yeah, no, honestly, dude, I'm quite excited for Coolie. And let's be very honest, this year, all the, not all சொல்ல மாட்டேன், but most of the big marquee films have failed quite miserably, to put it mildly, right?
True.
And இப்போ ஒரு விதத்துல
other
வந்து
than
இல்ல,
other
நம்ம
than for
மானத்தை
other than
காப்பாத்துறது வந்து
for
எனக்கு.
Adik's Good Bad Ugly, which delivered exactly what it
Bro, but
and more
Adik
than that.
Vande, see, I agree. The Good Bad Ugly Vande, it was okay for what it was trying to do, and I enjoyed it and whatnot. But let's be very honest, it's also இப்போ ஆமைஸ் வந்து நம்மள உரைப்பாங்க, பட் அல்டிமேட்லி வந்தது it was not even aiming to be like a pan India wide release or whatever. It was very much a film by the Ames, of the Ames, for the Ames. That's a fact. Let's be honest, right?
But
That doesn't change.
it was true to
It's
itself,
fine.
is what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's true to exactly, yeah. It was true to what it was doing, and it was also not overreaching its ambition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But inga வந்து the other films that
But
we
yeah,
had, right?
but I get what you're saying. So yeah, this year has been I mean, little bit a huge disappointment now.
Yeah,
So hopefully, yeah, hopefully Lokesh breaks that curse. So from my side personally, though, like I'm again, like the other movies, now I'm like, Lokesh புதுசா என்ன பண்ணிருக்கான், like what has how, like what is crazy in his mind that he's gonna bring it up on screen, and then I'm kind of excited. There
yeah,
hasn't been too much about the soundtrack yet, but I think we still have around 18 days, so I'm still like,
yeah.
or a ordinary person, or I am scared, அது மாதிரி, like I'm kind of expecting. I would love it if Anirudh sends out a rock song with badass, but I don't know, like
Yeah.
what did you feel about Powerhouse?
See, Powerhouse வந்து இல்ல, in isolation. See, it's growing on me, I must admit. And out of all the three songs, odd as it may sound, I'm going to be the outlier here. I know in our group, people dislike it. I personally liked it the most
Oh,
out of the
Chittiku
three.
vibe, Chittiku vibe is there, right? Yeah.
Chickadee vibe இருக்கு,
Yeah.
பட் இந்த மோனிகா ஏதோ மூணுல வந்து பவர் ஹவுஸ் வந்து இல்ல. See, okay, I'll tell you why I probably feel that it'll probably grow on a lot of people once the movie releases. எனக்கு வந்து when I heard it for the first time, I was like, okay, இது மாதிரி ஃபிளாட்டாக போகிறது, ஒரு ஹை இல்லை அண்ட் வாட் நாட், ரைட்? அந்த அந்த ஹுக்கும்ல இருக்கிற ஹை இல்லை, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், ரைட்? ஆர் ஈவன் பேட் ஆஸ் ஆர் வாட் எவர். Then I saw the lyric video a bit later. I didn't see it initially, and there was some moments when they showed actual shots from the movie, where Rajni's and the so-called Talabadi shot, or Rajni, just carrying that muta and whatnot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And him looking like super serious and everything. And the moment when the lyrics kind of play out, it kind of worked very well.
Yeah, it is
And
made for
எனக்கு
it is made for the movie. It is made for the movie.
exactly.
Yeah.
But எனக்கு என்ன தோணுதுன்னா, once the film comes out, and I think there is an action set piece in some sort of a place which has a big ஒரு வராண்டா இல்ல,
Yeah,
அந்த
something
அந்த
like how.
கேரளா ஸ்டைல் ஹவுசஸ் இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்குல்ல,
Yeah,
அந்த
mansion.
2-story வீடு பிளஸ் ஓப்பன் மேன்ஷன் மாதிரி, where this song will kind of play out in the background. And I think with that, the song will probably hit its mark. So ஒரு விதத்துல ஒரு மாதிரி situational song தான், but I think it's more situation song இல்ல, I think it's more like a background score. So maybe it doesn't really work very well for a lot of people
This
without
year,
the visuals.
right? This year there were three similar songs which are supposed to play out at the high moment this year. One was Shruti Has
Okay.
Benvili Nayaga. One was Anirudh's Perseverance theme. The other one was Santosh Narayan's The One. You have no idea how much I've been disappointed. These three songs didn't turn out the way I wanted them in cinema.
நீங்க நீங்க
I am
வேற
scared
வந்து
to get into
பீதி
this
கிளப்புறீங்க
bandwagon.
விடுங்க. இல்ல ப்ரோ, ஐ மீன் ஐ அக்ரி, ஐ கம்ப்ளீட்லி அக்ரி. ஐ மீன்
The only
வின்.
song which satisfied me was Puli 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 Puli.
Oh God! I mean, you mentioning Winvilly Nayaga, right, is bringing back really traumatic memories the first viewing of Thug Life, right?
So
See, at least Perseverance theme, வந்து put it this way, I think Magar Ceremony, வந்து he probably thought that scene was like a big moment in his mind, and he kind of plugged it in. It was not like that. That's another issue, but at the very least, I can understand why they used the song the way
yeah,
where they did, right? So it made sense.
Vetain was this
The
year,
one
right?
could Vertain was the last year. Vertain was last year.
I thought.
Dude, Vertain's background score really worked. I'm telling you, man. Compared to all of the ones that you quoted now,
No, no,
right?
no.
எல்லாம் நல்லா fit
I'm
ஆச்சு
not
அந்த
talking about the
Vertain.
background score, dude. I'm talking about that high song, like the song which.
அது அந்த சூப்பர் ஸ்டார் தானே, ஹண்டர் வண்டா சூடு
Yeah,
தானே.
Hunter
ஸோ அது
Hunter.
இருந்தது. ஐ மீன், yeah, as a song, maybe it's because I've heard it a lot more than say this one, Powerhouse. I kind of like Hunter Hunter more than Powerhouse right now. But
Yeah,
if the visuals kind of make up for that gap,
yeah.
I might shift my allegiance.
I mean, it's
Ultimately, dude, like
like
Hukum is
yeah,
still
exactly. We got
unaged.
Hukum, which was the high
It's
point of Jailer.
I
So
mean, Hukum, Maranamas, and all are very hard to touch at this point. And Hukum Mandir is a lightning in a bottle type thing. And the moment when the Rajni and was
true,
out of action and visibility after
true.
Annatha, like especially in the
Yeah,
2K crowd, when they were
yeah.
trolling him heavily.
It brought back really good memories. Like Hukum,
It bo-
when that kick happened and Rajni kicks. I'm sorry, I want to mention the actor's name. Our pair na.
uh, in the actor,
Uh,
Hukum Liya.
yeah, the villain and jailer.
Oh, you were Vinayagam.
Yeah, so Vinayak. So when Rajni kicks Vinayak, like
Yeah,
we can all feel that one emotion of growing up as a Rajni fan. All of us, like how much, like you
yeah,
can
yeah.
lie how much ever you want, but that it is impossible for you to have watched Padayappa, Muthu, or Arunachalam and not, not felt that.
Uh,
That oh,
ப்ரோ, எங்களோட நம்மளோட நம்மள சின்ன பசங்க, நான் வந்து I I took my dad to watch Jailer when it came in the
yeah,
cinemas. Okay, he's north of 17 now. Okay, so he must have been slightly short of 70
yeah,
அப்போ, right? அவர் வந்து he watches a lot of films, எல்லா லாங்குவேஜும் பார்ப்பாரு. அது அவர்கிட்ட தான் நானும் வந்து ஒரு மாதிரி அவர் பார்த்து பார்த்து நானும் வளர்ந்து ஒரு விதத்துல படம் பார்க்கறதுல and what not, right? இன்டர்மிஷன்ல தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் வந்து தே பிளே ஹுக்கும் அந்த 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 இதுல when he sits down and then the background score kicks in.
yeah.
I have never seen him get so excited. அவரே வந்து சீட்ல உட்காந்து கை தட்ட ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாரு. ஒரு 70-year-old man
I agree.
வந்து
I
he is getting excited, he is getting goosebumps. இதுக்கு மேல என்ன வேணும்?
I am happy Kollywood is still able to do that because my dad is the same. Like he keeps watching. My mom keeps complaining. எப்ப பார்த்தாலும் ஜெயிலர் பார்த்துக்கிட்டே இருக்க. So
So அந்த இதுல வந்து by the way, so my dad அவரே வந்து he doesn't like any of the songs so far and Coolie.
yeah,
He's like என்னைக்கு அது ரொம்ப நல்லாவே இல்லைன்னு. But I'm pretty sure, but he's also telling me he's with me right now visiting, right? அவர் சொல்றாரு 14th August டிக்கெட் புக் பண்ணு. He's like after me to book the ticket. So
one of the biggest plus points of me moving back is me being able to watch Coolie first day first show in Chennai.
there you go.
There you
இது
go.
மேல என்ன
Like
பண்ண
this
bro?
entire
I
universe
mean,
is pushing me towards that. So
so yeah, no, I mean, look, if we're all excited for Coolie. I'm sure Loki he's going to deliver something interesting. I'm not saying it'll be great or whatever. We don't know. We'll have to watch the film to judge, but it'll be interesting for sure.
for
So
sure.
let's keep our fingers crossed and see what
Yeah,
happens. And I think, look, my point is another. If Coolie is genuinely very good, critically, commercially, and whatever, commercially it'll do well too. Like, it has to be ranked back to do poorly, but critically good on us all. And just how the audience perceives it, right? I think it'll give Lokesh a lot of like confidence And when he goes back to Kerry, right, he
I
can
think
really go
that
out
is
there and
something
return.
he needs. I think he needs
Yeah,
to get back the confidence he had after finishing Vikram,
exactly,
which
exactly.
that confidence showed up in Leo, but it failed in a few places, which did shake up Loki a little bit. I would agree,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, like just like you, I am also really hoping Coolie gives us the movie we have been wanting for a while this year, especially. I mean, I have my dragon, but yeah, but I hope Coolie gives me that movie, and then we'll meet on another podcast discussing Coolie and how good it was.
Not very long to go for that. So yeah, I think it's a good time to kind of end our podcast. So guys, thank you very much for joining us today. This is a an unedited pod, so obviously it'll have all sorts of imperfections, but that's the beauty of trying to share with you what a natural conversation feels like. So we're trying something different. So feel free to send us your feedback. Tell us if you like this approach, or you would prefer if we had a bit more structure to it. But otherwise, we shall see you in an episode very soon. And yeah, take care, everyone, and peace out.
See you guys. Bye.